The first receiver, according to NFL Mock Draft Database, to go will be Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas. He is projected at pick 25 around there. So this would be maybe he slides out of the first round. Nobody picks him on night one. The Browns would be sitting there with the option to pick him up at pick 33. Maybe if they really like him after evaluations, they trade up back into the first round on night one and take him. But we'll talk about Matthew Golden here. So he's 5'11", 191 pounds, 21 years old. Stats for 2024, 83 targets, 58 receptions, 987 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Now, I said maybe at 33 we'll see, but in all reality, I do believe he's going to go in the first round. He blazed the 40, which always helps these kind of fringe first-round guys get into the first round. He had a 4.29 in the 40, so that was really good for him. NFL Draft Profile says that Matthew Golden works all 3 levels of the field with similar consistency and productivity. His route running needs refinement, but he does a decent job of altering tempo and separating at breakpoints. Golden has the ability to play all 3 receiver spots. He also has the agility and body control to turn near misses into highlight catches. Focus drops still pepper his play, but he's a willing participant in traffic and took command of contested catches with better physicality and catch strength in 2024. Golden's starting level traits and big leap forward as a go-to playmaker have him primed to become a productive catchmaker with the potential to develop into a wide receiver 1 in the future. So my main issue, that's all well and good. My main issue with Matthew Golden is that most of his production this past season came during the college football playoffs. And I'll just say I understand. Those are the best teams. Those are the 4 best teams they played. Obviously, that was the playoff, and he had his highest production, but 40, I'm not just talking about a little bit. 42% of his yardage came over those 4 games. He had 8 catches for 162 yards against Georgia, 7 for 149 against Arizona State. Big games there. The other 2 playoff games actually weren't that big at all. He never had a 100-yard game during the regular season. A little concerning. 11 of his 16 games, he had 3 or fewer catches. So was not a go-to guy, was not a hyper-targeted high-volume receiver. Did not demand a lot of targets in 11 out of 16 games. So for me personally, I prefer a guy who dominated his college target market share and was the dude versus just being a dude on the team. He had just a 2.10 yards per route run. Remember, I said 2.5 is what we're looking for. This would be considered lower. This is, when I say close to 2.5, 2.4 and up would be kind of, I would take it, but 2.1, that's low for me. 303 yards after the catch, just 31% of his yards came after the catch, 5.2 yards after catch per reception. That was on the lower end of this entire draft class coming in. His ADOT was 13.5, so that's cool. That's a nice ADOT, and he had 4 drops on the season with a 61.1% contested catch rate. So we like that, those higher contested catch rates. All right, so let's look at the wide receiver rookie primer from Fantasy Pros, Matthew Golden. Now, these stats are all from receivers this past season who had a minimum of 50 targets. I mentioned before, yards per route run was 94th overall in last year's wide receiver group. Not good. PFF receiving grade, 69th. So definitely not on the higher end of that. The write-up, Matthew Golden is a smooth route runner. His varied release package and crisp moves at the top of his stem allow him to gain consistent, easy separation. Golden can gear down easily and drop his hips. He profiles as a possession receiver at the next level. With his route running and fluid ability to change directions, he can carve up defenses in the short and intermediate areas of the field. Now, he isn't a ball winner at the catch point or a monster after the catch, which we talked about. His lack of play strength can highlight his shortcomings. Golden has only 5.6 yards after the catch per reception in college and a contested catch rate under 40% in 2 of his 3 seasons. Okay, so they're kind of going back and looking at the college profile as a whole. Golden can get deep, but he doesn't have elite deep speed, which maybe the NFL draft or the NFL combine he proved that wrong. I think this was written before the combine and all those final numbers took place. When he is utilized downfield, he exhibits strong ball tracking and a quick return to top speed with double moves. So, like I said, I'll break down like 1 through 10, my top 10 at the end of this. Matthew Golden is on that list, but you can kind of tell from the way I'm talking, he's not number 1. Number 1 is the guy I'm going to talk about next. But just to put a bow here on Matthew Golden, I think if the Browns were to somehow come away with him, obviously we would be excited. He's a big playmaking receiver, and he's got potential to grow into a legitimate wide receiver one. That's how the NFL feels about him. I look at his production from last year, at some of those deeper metrics, and he's not at the top of my list because of those things. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is Matthew Golden a bona fide first-round talent, or is he somebody that if he's at 33, maybe the Browns could kick the tires on, but if there's somebody else available, somebody else on this list, maybe they go that direction instead?